What is up, guys? I have been building a full stack recruitment platform for a client of mine. Basically, a database where you can track your candidates' positions in companies that you're tracking for your recruitment agency. And the funny thing is, I've made about 95% of this code using Claude Code and Cursor. So today, I'm going to take you through the 3 techniques I used to help me get this app done quickly and efficiently, all using AI coding. So a quick tour of the app. Here you have the homepage just with your top entities and some basic stats. You can go into candidates, all the people you have tracked with all their resumes. We have positions, all the roles we're looking to hire for, with the Jira board style thing here, so you can track candidates as they advance along the stages of interviewing, and all the companies we are working with, and some other basic things like profile details and user management, so people can be onboarded and be assigned certain permissions within the app. And of course, authentication, you can log in and out. And the first technique I used for this build out was to not start from scratch, right? I could have, ran an npm command to make a new Next.js app, fire up all the clerk authentication architecture, which I used, make a new schema for all the database tables to connect to each other. But I didn't do that. 1, just for the sake of time. And 2, when you give Claude Code a place to start with and some good common practices that you trust already in place, it can use those for the future build outs. And also, it could have messed up building out the authentication, could have messed up configuring the landing page versus the signed in dashboard view because something changed in the package that doesn't have the most up-to-date data on. So I just used my own Next.js starter kit. It's totally free on my GitHub, link in the description. Though it has everything you see here: authentication, database schema, nice signed in experience with basic left nav, navigation, all that good stuff. And it's stuff I trust and tools I'm comfortable with. Components I like, easy theming to make your color scheme. So using something that's already built, great way to skip, chapters 1 through 5 of 20 in building an application. The second technique I used is to plan with context. Now I could have just typed out everything I thought I wanted for my app into Claude Code on Opus mode and hope for the best. Maybe could have got it, but odds are it would have missed some things. It would have tried to build too much at once. We would have no way to track what's already built, what's in progress, how certain features tie into each other. So what I did in the kickoff meeting with my client is essentially record it all, and I put all of it, the text I recorded, recorded the audio, put that text, and then gave that to ChatGPT. It built out this nice product requirements document, the basic core features we have, how everything ties together, niche details on certain things, like on the company's detailed page, show all the associated positions, stuff like that, just to really catch all the gaps that I may not have set out myself. Also, teach me new things or inspire me for ideas. So for instance, like the Jira board on a position, I wasn't thinking of doing that. I was just thinking of having, all the candidates, all their statuses, but it inspired me to make this Jira board-like interface, something users are used to. Simple drag and drop makes it obvious on how they're advancing through the process. That would not have happened had I not had an initial just planning session talking to a large language model. You can also use Claude Code here, shift tab into plan mode, do it there. Another great way to do it. I usually just do it in a separate ChatGPT, so I'm used to it. And then I put it in a markdown file in my docs folder, another huge must-do thing. So now that we have a boilerplate code that we trust, and we have all the documentation for the features we got to build, my third technique is to build sequentially. Let me give you an example of a recent kickoff meeting. This was the second one I had with a client. Had a huge conversation, summarized all the notes here. And then I gave these notes to Claude Code. I won't show you the exact conversation, but I essentially pasted all this and said, hey, we want to implement all these, but sequentially, can you branch them off into medium or small size features that we can do one by one? And that made this features folder here, just basic markdown of each feature I wanted. So for example, this is a note system. So we could go into, say, a candidate. We'll go here and you could add notes, and before it's just one giant text field, but we wanted a way to say first note, click enter, then I can see who made this. If my friend David made a note, I can see he said, hey, schedule for an interview or something like that. So that way there's more ways for users to communicate for each other and not overlap work. When I do a feature, I like to thoroughly inspect every line of code myself. That way I'm not just blindly committing to master. It could be totally working, but you won't be intimately familiar with the code. So it could be doing bad practices, like having your repo. It could be building a whole architecture, like a React context you're not aware about. So then when you go to add features down the road, you're like, hey, where'd this come from? And you're basically eventually have to review the code yourself, whether you like it or not. You can build, toy fun pages, one-shot it, and push to master. But for medium or large size projects or client work, especially where they're paying you to do work, you do want to go through the code. And when I use Claude Code versus Cursor, typically just Cursor for the small stuff. So for instance, I have Cursor chat here where I asked it to just make a skeleton for the text on the home page right here when it's loading. So it doesn't have my name, shows a brief wave skeleton, and obviously small feature, but I wasn't sure of the syntax off the top of my head. So I use Cursor for that, or for any inline changes, and of course autocomplete. Like, if I wanted more greetings based on the time here, I could do that. But then anything, medium to large, or even sometimes some small things, if it relates to a previous conversation, I'll use Claude Code. Loving their new VS Code extension, Shift Tab to quickly flip through the modes. And the whole point of this sequential feature building is so Claude Code's not building for you, but you're building with it, knowing what's actually getting pushed to your repo and doing it one at a time so you're not overshotting Claude Code's bounds. So those are my 3 techniques I recommend to you when building with Claude Code. 1, don't start from scratch. Start with boilerplate code that you trust and know works for your use case. 2, plan with context. Write a detailed PRD before starting and for all medium to large features. And 3, build sequentially. Don't try to one-shot it all at once. Build, verify, review, and then push, and then move on to the next one. So I hope you guys learned something. I'll be covering more tutorials on Claude Code and agentic coding in the future. I'll be giving updates on this project, perhaps maybe how I landed this project, how I deployed it to production, how I kind of coordinate with the clientele. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an update. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.